Over the last few days, we've heard quite substantial amount in our first readings about the early church controversy in relation to circumcision. And we have this letter that's sent to the community. They sent some delegates with them. Judas, known as Barsabbas, and Silas are sent with Paul and Barnabas to deliver this letter as sort of testimonies of or witnesses from the community. I think we've had a good think about this over the last few days in the role of what happened there in the early church. Today is the memorial of St. Bernardine of Siena, who lived at a time where banking as we currently know it started to develop in the 13th, 14th century in different parts of Italy, and was very significant in Siena. And there are banks in Siena today that still have their roots that have been existing since the time of St. Bernardine in the late 14th, early 15th century. Bernardine dies in 1444. And Bernardine was the first, you could say, significant voice in the world from a Christian perspective to start to speak out about policies to protect the consumer, to protect the small person who's going to the bank to get a loan. And he spoke about this, and this then led to rules being put in place to protect perhaps what we would know today as the homeowner who might have a loan with the bank. The banks shouldn't be charging interest or be willing to accept a loan that's going to destroy a person. And Bernardine wrote very significantly about this, about the moral hazard that is present for those in the banking industry. And we've seen this even in our own country. In more recent times, we've had royal commissions into banking and to finance. Bernardine started the moral discussion in the 14th, early 15th century about the importance of protecting every person. Yes, we need a banking structure. We need places where we can deposit things. We need places where we can get loans from. But these people who give these loans shouldn't give loans to people who aren't able to pay back the interest. And they shouldn't be looking to destroy people and make people, in essence, slaves to the banks. And so Bernardine wrote a lot about this, and this became the standard for the medieval and then into the 16th, 17th century to the way Christians approached banking. Bernardine's quite significant in his place within the banking structures. So it's interesting to think about. There are moral hazards, there are moral issues that we think about in every single context, every single working situation. And throughout history, we've had different people who've advocated for specific things. One thing that was very common at Bernardine's time was the development of the banks. And he reflected about that, reflected about the individual, and made sure the individual was protected and looked after. We should do the same in our own lives as well. We shouldn't just look after ourselves. We should be thinking of those who could easily be manipulated or have their rights taken away. And we should be doing what we can to support them and protect them as well. So let us today pray for Bernardine's intercession in our lives, and especially for those working within the financial industry. So Bernardine of Siena, pray for us.